Yo, it's Go, and welcome to the video. This is the third boss in Sunwell, Felmyst. So you can kind of preload your dots as Felmyst is landing. I Fairy Fire, Insect Swarm, Moonfire. As soon as the boss touches the ground, I'll use my Treants. And the tank is also getting threat, so shouldn't be an issue getting all your dots up. So this was our first week. We didn't get any PTR practice on Felmyst. I didn't really know what to expect too much other than watching boss guide videos. So I was being pretty cautious with my mana, ruined as early as I could. I was mana potting as well. It is progression. This is after a couple of wipes, so I was trying to heal myself too. Rather live and get the boss down than try to parse week one. But eventually, for the first ground phase, I will be trying to Destropot and burn through my whole mana bar. We got about a minute and 20 seconds because the ground phase is a minute, and then we get about 15-20 seconds right here. As long as we don't get the beam and have to kite the beam away from the raid, then we can stand here and keep DPSing the boss and burn through the rest of our mana. So I think I'll still probably rune in phase 1, but switch from Mana Pot to Destro pretty early on. Maybe not next week, but at least by week 3. I think I'll try to start using Destro instead of mana. And for the air phase, I thought that all these skeletons were going to count towards my DPS and my parse, and lo and behold, they do not, which makes sense. You can kind of cheese it. If they did count, you could just have people walk through the fog, spawn more skeletons, and have higher DPS and cheese it. So it makes sense. All your damage and your parse is coming from just your damage to Felmyst. So I'm going to try to treat this air phase sort of like Reliquary of Souls between phases, where I would just let the melee or whoever kill the ads. So on this fight, the warlocks can life tap, they can see the skeletons, kill the skeletons, and be at full mana like they all are right now. So a thing to keep your eye on though is if you do get to keep DPSing at the start of the air phase, just don't pass your tank on threat. Threat does not reset, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I think one thing that early on is going to help everyone's parse is only having one air phase. The guilds that are being able to down the boss that quickly, their parses and their DPS is really going to reflect it, since there's so much downtime in that air phase. So we get 2 air phases, and having that second air phase really lowered my DPS compared to some other DPSs that I've seen friends get in their guilds. But since we should be starting the second ground phase with full mana, it should be a rinse and repeat of phase 1. We can Destropot and burn through our whole mana bar again. But that is the whole fight, just switching between air phase and ground phase. Yeah, I got the beam, had to kite it away, wasn't able to keep DPS in here. So I think when Felmyst is flying over, it would be a huge risk to try to get any Moonfire on as she flies across the field, unless you're super comfortable with the barrier of the edge of the fog, and you're not going to get hit by that breath. But that's super risky, and I don't think it's going to help out your parse that much, getting off one Moonfire during the air phase. I am wondering though if we could stand at the end of one side, and before Felmyst flies across the map, maybe be able to get a little DPS in there. Also pretty risky though. Right now, could be over there on the left and trying to DPS. But yeah, getting into position as soon as you can to start getting that damage rolling again will help with your uptime, and better uptime is always better DPS. One last thing that's going to lower your DPS, of course, is if you get the Encapsulate, which you can see on the right side of the screen here. Somebody in the group to our right got Encapsulate. You get knocked up into the air, and you're unable to DPS for 8 to 10 seconds. So that's the big RNG factor on this fight. It's almost like getting slept on Anatheron and Hyjal. But we downed the boss, collected our loot, and headed to the Twins. So I'll see you soon for boss number 4.